If you've wanted to be a one income family, if you've wanted to be a stay at home mom, if you've wanted to homeschool, but you've always thought to yourself, there is no way I can do that, the finances just don't work out in today's world. Well, stick around because I'm going to tell you how our family of 8 lives on one income, and we have from the very beginning. We have always lived on one income. From the moment we got married, that was our goal. And so before we were married, I worked a job and I enjoyed my job. But when we got married, we really wanted to be a one income family. I really wanted to be a stay at home wife. My husband really wanted that. Both of us had good examples about that. His family was a one income family for almost all of his life. My family was a one income family despite being a very large family. Actually, both of us had large families. And so that was our plan. And we knew that we needed to trust God from the very beginning of our relationship. So when we got married, we began practicing probably what other people would think of as extreme frugality, but it was for a purpose. So it's one thing to practice frugality or to penny pinch when the reason for that is burdensome. Maybe it's medical bills that you have to pay, or maybe you just have no other option. But when you make a conscientious choice to be a one income family and to prioritize saving and investing and retirement, all of those things, and to prioritize family time, your purpose, your why for doing that really informs your attitude towards it. So I have always viewed saving money and living on one income as a challenge, as a fun challenge, as a game almost that you play. And what's been really, really nice is that in that game, we have always been winners. So I know that for some people, that doesn't feel like a game. It feels more like a battle, and you feel battle scarred. But for me, it's never been that way. And I think part of it is that both my husband and I, maybe because of the way we were brought up, we had low expectations. So we don't have expectations of eating out all the time, of buying Starbucks every day, of splurging on fancy schmancy vacations. We've never had a car payment. We buy all of our cars always with cash. They are by necessity cheap cars, but we shop around. We look for a certain specific kind of a car. My husband is very good at doing that. We try to make informed purchases. And so because our expectations were low, it was a fun process for us. When we first were married, and this was 20 some years ago, so I know people today would be like, whoa, how can that happen? But our entire grocery budget for a week was $35. Even though it was 20 some years ago, that was still a really small budget. I didn't know anybody else who had a budget like that, even if there were just 2 of them, even if there was just 1 of them. I mean, $35 is what some people spend on a lunch out. That was our entire budget for a whole week. Even with that budget, we did a lot of hospitality. We did a lot of church lunches where you bring a casserole or you bring food to share. Somehow it always worked out. And sometimes we had to pull from other budget categories. But if we only spent $35 on food, then we had extra money for other categories, like for investing, for saving for a down payment for a house, for instance, for saving for summer mission teams that we would go on or mission trips that we would do, for saving for furniture or whatever else we needed, and a car. I would say a new car, but none of them were ever new. And so it was very important to me, and it was very important to my husband, that we just did our best to stay within that budget. And as we had more and more children, and thank the Lord, we've never had any needs that he has not provided. In fact, my husband and I often talk about how God always sends his ravens just in time. And those ravens might be different things. It might be a job that one of us could do that we would get paid for. It might be a gift. It might be an offering somebody takes for a ministry trip of ours. It might be food that somebody gives us that they didn't want or couldn't eat. In so many ways, I can't even tell you the ways the ravens have met our physical needs, or even our other needs. But some of the ways that God's ravens fed us were just the things that we did ourselves, and just to be good stewards of God's money. Some of these would be budgeting and tracking. So I told you we had a $35 food budget per week. We tracked every penny, every single penny we spent. In addition to the $35 a week, we did have a small house fund. So that was for, paper goods like paper towels, toilet paper, napkins, shampoo, stuff like that. I think that was $15 a week. So the combined was about $50 a week. And that was my entire household budget. We shopped around for insurance. So for cars, for homes, renter's insurance, whatever it might be, we always shop around and try to get the best deal. Coupons. I did lots of coupons when we were first married. And I shopped sales, especially the loss leaders that all of the grocery stores would put out in their flyers. And I would go in those early days to probably 6 or 7 grocery stores each week. And I would just pick up a little bit here and a little bit there and a little bit there. And everything else I needed, I would buy at Aldi. And that was really my means of feeding us. And God really provided. And we always had food to eat. Maybe not a whole lot of extra, but we used to joke that we might be poor, but we have ice cream in the freezer. And God seemed to always even provide for ice cream. My husband is a big ice cream lover. We ate at home almost always. Even to this day, we almost never eat out. It just seems to scoop the money right out of our grocery budget faster than we can blink. So we rarely eat out unless we're traveling or something happens and we need to, if we're taking somebody else out. I cook pretty simply, and I cook a lot of foods from scratch. So I buy a lot of produce. We eat a lot of real foods. Meat, produce, milk is a big portion of what we eat. And I don't know if you've ever seen those pantry challenges on YouTube, but women will be like, okay, for the next 3 weeks, I'm not going to buy any groceries. We're just going to eat out of our pantry. We're just going to see what kind of meals we can form from the food we already have in our house. It's kind of funny, but that's my way of life. Like, I come to prepping dinner time, and a lot of times I have a meal planned in my mind. But if I don't, I just go to my pantry, my freezer. I just pull out what I have, and I'll just make it stretch. So I do advocate meal planning, and I do think it helps, and I often do it like at the beginning of the week. But there will be days that will be just left blank to just fill in with whatever. And often I just buy the same things at the grocery store, but I just use them. I combine those ingredients in different ways to make other meals. When it comes to clothes, I shop sales, I shop thrift stores, I shop clearance. And for my husband and my boys, a lot of the time that is clearance racks. That's the main one. Kohl's, where you get Kohl's cash back, and then you shop on the clearance racks. And the Lord has really provided. I have seen so many times where I would just pray and say, Lord, we need a suit. We need a new dress shirt for one of my children. And the Lord just provided. I also accept all hand-me-downs. If somebody wants to give me a bag of hand-me-downs, I take it. I don't care what's in it. If I don't want it, I'll pass it on or I'll send it to a thrift store. But I will take it, and I will dig through that bag no matter what's in there. And I always enjoy doing that. And I feel like the Lord provides. I have 2 storage bins for my youngest 3 children who are still in high school and down, and they're still growing. And so I do keep pants that they've been given or ones that their older brothers grew out of. And then I have a storage bin for me that's like the opposite season clothes, or maybe clothes that are a little too small or a little too large. Stay-at-home moms don't need huge wardrobes or expensive clothes, and that's been a big help for me. I don't typically spend a lot on clothes for me, and when I do buy clothes for me, it's because I found something I really love. I do have low by months and low by years. So there have been times when we've had 2 children in college bills we were paying, mortgages we were paying, and trying to keep our family afloat was really challenging. And there were months where I was just like, okay, I know one of my boys needs socks, and we're going to make it another week before we buy those because we have to get to the end of the month. And just had really low buy months or years where just nothing that was, if it was extra, we just didn't buy it. I already told you that for cars, we always buy used. We always pay cash. We never have a car loan or a payment. The same thing could be true for our phones. We always pay cash. It's always used. We never have a phone payment. And we use Mint for our cell phones. And if you're not using Mint, you can definitely save money using Mint. In fact, some of our cell phone plans are Mint, and some are an even cheaper plan that we use that's just a few dollars a month. We shop around for internet. So we had Spectrum for about 3 years, and they just kept raising our rate. So finally we moved to T-Mobile. Yes, our internet is not as fast, but we don't stream videos, and we really don't play any video games. So we use our computers and our internet for work and for homeschooling. And so we were able to save a little bit, even though it's a lower rate of speed, it's also a much lower rate of payment. As far as education, I do homeschool my 3 youngest children. We enjoy doing that. I have found a curriculum that I love. It's not the cheapest one out there. We do pay for it, but it is excellent. And I feel like sometimes you get what you pay for. And to us, education is very important. And so our children have a very rigorous curriculum that's frankly better than a lot of the schools. So that's important to us. Usually for presents, for birthdays, Christmas, usually we focus on events and memories. So we might have a big family get together at Christmas. And so our money goes primarily to that. And then the gifts that we buy for each child are a little bit smaller. We don't spend a lot of money on personal gifts. We do buy each child a couple of presents, and not expensive ones, but something that they want. And then we get a family gift usually, or an activity or something that will give us memories. We don't have consumer debt. We have no credit card debt. We never have credit card debt. We do use credit cards, and we use credit cards the way people used to use checks. We subtract the amount that we've spent from our planning, and so we know the total left after our credit card will be paid. And our credit card gives us cashback rewards, and I know Dave Ramsey is death on that, but I'm sorry. There are several areas in which I disagree with Dave Ramsey, and this is one of them. For us, it works really well. We have almost no subscriptions except for work ones. For music, we have CDs and CD players, and we listen to those. We don't have a TV. We really don't ever stream. Maybe for a special family occasion, we'll rent a movie or borrow a movie on Amazon or YouTube or something. We do have a small DVD collection, and we have DVD players, so we can watch those. It's not a big screen. It's a very small screen. It's not a whole lot of fun. But we are a family that loves to spend time together, and we love games. Not video games. We don't do video games, but we have hundreds of board games. Well, I don't know how many we have. We have a lot of board games, and some of them are very complicated board games, but they're a lot of fun to play. We do have a couple of subscriptions that we have occasionally. So one of our subscriptions is Amazon Prime. Did you know that you can pause Amazon Prime? And I know that they offer like a yearly, I'm pretty sure they offer a lower yearly rate or a higher monthly rate. But at least with the monthly rate, you can pause it anywhere in there. And so since most of our birthdays are in the second half of the year, we typically end up pausing our Prime for the first half of the year. And that saves us money every month. Occasionally I'll get a Panera Sip Club subscription, and I usually get that when they offer it for free for about 3 months. Usually in the summer they'll give a free Panera subscription for Sip Club drinks, but I've canceled that when the price goes back up to normal. The things we splurge on are things like music lessons, sports, hobbies that are skills in real life. We really like real life skills. Games, but not video games. Travel, ministry trips, time with family, even extended family, and any learning opportunities we can get. You know, it's not hard to live on one income. It really isn't, even with a large family. The key is just to keep your expenses low and keep your expectations low, but keep your enjoyment of life high. And as I said, I really think the most important part of that is your attitude. And I've always had this sort of attitude, like I'm going to beat the system. Okay, our budget is low, but I'm going to beat it. I can do this. You know, that's always been my attitude. And though occasionally it hasn't worked out, we've had to up our budget. And recently we had all of our children home for about a year, or most of them home. And I have mostly boys, and they eat a lot. And when the prices went up a couple of years ago, the grocery prices really rose. I mean, during the last couple of years of the last president, the grocery prices rose a lot. And I discovered I just couldn't make our grocery budget. But we just raised our grocery budget. We lowered some other things, and it's working out well. So I just want to encourage you. It is possible to be a stay-at-home mom. It is possible to live on one income. Yes, you have to make some sacrifices, but you can do it. And it's a big blessing. And you know what I've gained in exchange is time with my children every day. As a homeschool mom, having my children home, yes, they have activities every day that they go out of the house for. But, 4/5 of the day or more, they are home. 9/10 of the day, maybe. They are home, and I'm with them. And I get to be with them. I get to help them with their schoolwork. It's just an amazing thing. I'm so blessed. I consider myself so blessed. And I would just like to end just by reminding us of contentment, the power of contentment. And I have a couple of quotes to share with you about contentment. The first one is by a man named Seneca, and he said, "It's not the man who has too little, but the man who wants more, who is poor." And there's a second quote that is by Jeremiah Burroughs, and he wrote The Rare Jewel of Christian Contentment, and I will read that to you. "A Christian comes to contentment not so much by way of addition as by way of subtraction. He can bring his desires down to his possessions, and so he attains his contentment." And the third quote I have for you is from the Bible. It's from Hebrews 13:5 and 6. "Let your conversation be without covetousness, and be content with such things as ye have. For he has said, I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. So that we may boldly say, The Lord is my helper, and I will not fear what man shall do unto me." So what I really want to encourage you is that you too can be a stay-at-home mom. You too can live on one income if you wish to. And I don't know that everybody's called to it, but it is possible. So I just wanted to share that with you. I hope that this is a help, and if it is, please feel free to subscribe. I do have some free downloads and some free helps that I offer on my website, so I will link that in the description below. Have a wonderful day.